Yes, yes, yes. It's another Sunday. And as the big brethren Richie say, if it's Sunday,
It's Sunday. It is
Sunday Scoops. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have some great music in store for you today and also some good stories. And as you know, Sunday Scoops is totally 100% organic. Yeah, we're live. We're not rehearsed. We're not reading from a script. It's just putting our great minds together. So Richie, how was your weekend so far?
The weekend are going good. Once we have Sunday Scoops, that's my weekend.
Yes, that's the best culmination for the weekend.
I'm telling you.
As good as rice and peas.
You see me have a pretty shirt. You see, look how my shirt look.
Pretty shirt.
Oh, boy, your shirt look good. Where you get that from?
Shirt them bash man.
You pay
Yaawd
for it?
Media, Yaawd Media. It was gifted actually.
Whoa, let me tell you something. Them shirts are wicked.
I asked a virgin to put on a shirt and one said I put on a Superman shirt because he's Superman.
Yeah, kind of Superman. So. But the producer on our Yaawd Media
feel the
shirt.
vibes.
Wicked. Feel the vibes.
Feel the vibes, yes.
Well, but again, if it is Sunday, it is Sunday Scoops time, and we, for the next 2 hours, we are going to rock your soul.
With
Today we're
none
featuring.
other. This man is 58 years in the biz and still going strong.
Amazing, amazing.
Ken Boothe,
Order of Distinction.
Order of Distinction, and what Mr. Rocksteady.
You
Yes.
know, the scribe said that when Ken Boothe started, when the good Lord made him, he made him, and then they created a crown called Rocksteady, and he just grew into the crown.
And then it broke the mold.
And then, yes, they throw away the mold. Block it up, dash it away. But, so today we're going to be featuring the music, more than just the music, the real outstanding career of Ken Boothe. And we just want to invite our viewers, listeners everywhere. You can watch us on, Garth.
Yes.
We can watch us on.
You can watch us on www.yaawdmedia, YAAWD.com, or you can listen to us on Facebook Live, watch us there too, and listen to us at mixlr.com/old school rules, and that's OLDSKOOLRULEZ, or if you're from Jamaica, it's RULEZ.
I want to ask you to share the stream. Those of you watching on Facebook, share.
Yes.
And invite your friends to
don't be selfish.
Don't be selfish,
Just,
right?
You can't keep good things to yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, share it. Share it.
Also want to call your attention to our merchandise that we're featuring in the background here. Want to invite you as well to visit our website at yaawdmedia.com and treat
Purchase
yourself.
a shirt.
Yeah? Ken Boothe started out as a youngster. From what the scribes say, he came from a musical family, Garth.
Yes, his mother was a performer, singer,
And his sister in particular.
too.
In fact, he used to accompany his sister to her performances and performed as a dancer.
Yeah,
for
that's
her.
how he started out dancing.
You know, like a 7, 8-year-old. And then he got bitten by the bug. His sister used to sing a lot of blues tunes.
Yes.
Ella Fitzgerald music, Sarah Vaughan. That's, you know, I mean, we're coming back out of the 50s when that's the only music that was available anyway in Jamaica.
Right.
And
yeah, it was blues, pops, and jazz. And most of the, and it's also endemic in the music that if you listen to the early Jamaican music, the blues, shuffle, ska, you'll find that the way the music is arranged and constructed is based on the same precepts as jazz and blues and R&B.
Yeah. And in fact, you know, just to drive the point home a little bit more, because that blues and jazz thing in Jamaica in that middle 50s is essentially what gave way or
ska.
created the ska. Want to big up Errol Campbell, who is joining us. You know, there are a couple of people who never miss Sunday Scoops. Feling, my colleague from Convey, want to big you up as well. And want to just get cracking. Let's give the people them a listen to, the tune we used to introduce the program, The Train Is Coming. It's a good way to get the thing started.
Yeah, because this train needs to move on.
This way we want to get the train rolling. Also want to big up Digital Magic, who, as usual, working their magic
Mix
together.
Master Magic.
The Mix Master
today, because I'm doing this today, he was a digital man. When I'm behind the turntables, he's Mix Master.
Yes.
So I have two names now.
Yeah, the train is coming. Let's get this train rolling. Ken Boothe. Yes, at least the train is now in motion. Ken Boothe train. Ken Boothe said he loved this thing unapologetically. I think one of his biggest early influence was a man named Owen Gray. And for those, the aficionados, particularly our colleagues at Old School Rules, they would be familiar with Owen Gray, not to take anything from the other listeners elsewhere, but he loved Owen Gray's music. In fact, he said he went to a concert, and although he couldn't go inside the theater, he would stand up outside and just listen to Owen Gray belt out some big blues tune. And he said from the moment he got that taste, he knew that this was where he wanted to be. And it didn't help either that Stranger Cole lived just around the corner from him.
Yep. So for him, he used to go to Boys Town after school, because Boys Town was the place to be back in the day.
Everybody
after school, everybody went to Boys Town. And on his way home, he used to hear this voice singing, and he used to just hide outside the shoe block. For those of you who don't know what shoe block is, it's hibiscus plant. He used to use as a border fence, and listen to Stranger Cole belt out songs, and then, finally took the courage to introduce himself. Yeah. And that
Stranger
started...
Cole asked him, "You can sing?" And he said, try a thing. And he just used to go listen to Stranger Cole almost every evening. And then, as you know them things go, you start to hold a note, you help with a harmony, that kind of thing. And say over time, they decided, Stranger wrote a tune. Uno, dos, tres, that's what it is.
Yes. Well, the interesting thing is that Stranger Cole was, at that time, already a star in his own right. Yeah. He was doing duets with Patsy and singing for Studio One.
That's a good little show today. That Stranger Cole have a huge catalog. But in terms of this, so he said over time, because remember, Ken Boothe is following the same route that most of these young Jamaican artists came through. The concerts, the contests, the singing. He won quite a few of these singing contests. And, ultimately, in fact, he had a little story where he said he lived in a yard in Denham Town, and he would gather up all the youngsters and them try them little thing, everybody like a rehearsal. And he make the milk can thing around him neck. What they call it, the pudum thing.
Balam.
That
was his first nickname.
His mother called him Balam as a result.
Because of the noise he used to make from him.
Right. And then, but ultimately, it took him, Stranger carried him down to Duke Reid's studio one afternoon and said, "Listen, you need to listen to this man." And Duke Reid, Duke Reid thing. I almost want to run them out of the studio,
but Stranger was
an establishment. He said, if Stranger bring a man come, then clearly he must have some promise.
Right.
And out of that came the first tune, a tune called Uno, Dos, Tres.
Yes.
And we're gonna give the thing. But he went further. Outside of Uno, Dos, Tres now, they did another tune called World Sphere.
Yes. And that song was released but before World Sphere in 1963 was Hush Baby. Or Hush.
Yes, this was Hush. Yes. Hush Baby was another tune.
So, and then they did World Sphere, which was one of their earliest
hits. If you want to call it a hit at the time. Yes. But let's listen to Hush. Just give you a taste This is, in fact, they formed a little duet, a duo called Stranger and Ken.
If you look at the records, that's all you see. Stranger and Ken. You look at the record label, nothing else.
They don't tell you anything,
know
Stranger who Ken is, just Stranger and Ken. But let's give a listen to Hush. Donovan Chambers. Donovan Chambers, hey, I live for this program, you know, so don't leave me out. Also, again, want to just give a big shout out to the listeners everywhere who are joining us.
Yes, those who are on mixlr.com, those who are joining us on Yaawd Media. We keep forgetting the listeners on Yaawd Media, and that is our site. I don't know why we... So, for those of you on yaawdmedia.com, thank you so much for tuning in this Sunday afternoon. And Facebook Live, I have a sister, Sandra, joining us from Trinidad, all the way in Trinidad.
Wow.
My brother Luke in Manchester, Jamaica. And Rufus, big sound selector down there in Pembroke Pines. Nestor Garrick, the son of Neville Garrick, all the way from California. And Dax from Virgin Dax. Thank you so much.
I also want to just big up my friend Hugh Campbell as well. I think it's one who are regular at the Sunday Scoops, massive. But moving right along, again we have a pile of music that we want to try to get through. Yes. Also, just want to prips our listeners as well. We're going to bring in Dr. Dennis Howard, who is celebrating 40 years in the business of broadcasting and music in Jamaica. And you have to, you know...
4 decades is a long time to do anything.
A long time to do anything.
Anything at all.
Can you imagine a man who married for 40 years?
Yeah, it's all right, Bridget.
So we're gonna give a big shout out to Dr. Howard, have him join us on the program in a little bit. But to the business at hand, Ken Boothe. Ken Boothe did another tune, himself and Stranger, that was celebrating World's Fair. World's Fair would have been in the, again, early 1960s, 1964. And this
it was in New York at the time.
A celebration of the whole impact of the creativity that comes.
And technology. A lot of the technology, new cars, all of that used to be revealed at World's Fair.
Yeah. And I think he said he took his baby to the World's Fair. But let's give a listen to
World's
Stranger and Ken. World's Fair. So let me get Dr. Howard on the phone, and we want to share with him. Not sure if you know me and this technology thing. Not too good. Well, it's a...
Says the man who likes to throw stones.
It's a... Well, listen, I don't know where you went over this weekend, but...
I was in Key West yesterday.
For some reason, it looked like it's still... Somebody
still at
Key West. But, Dr. Howard.
Yes.
Well, just so... As we promised, we have Dr. Dennis Howard with us on the telephone. And Dr. Howard and I have a couple of distinctions in that we went to two of the greatest schools in the country.
Where you went to the Carteret?
Yeah, man. Right. The Carteret is a house at KC, so come to think of it. Dr. Howard, can you talk to this man here for a minute, man? We ever talk about...
Well, listen. We have, I can't knock him. He's from the Carteret. So I'm still have like a purple blood in him.
Dr. Howard knows
So,
the Carteret is 1919 and KC is 1934.
We're not gonna bother with it today. Dr. Howard, how are you?
As I said, he have a little purple blood in him.
Him have a little purple blood. Dennis, what should I say? Garth, what should I say? Happy anniversary.
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Let me tell you something. You are a man who you look like you're about 45. So you have been in this music business from a 5-year-old.
Yeah, apparently. I actually started when I was about 18. After I left Camperdown. Straight from in fact, I had my first summer job in media while I was at Camperdown in 6B. So the first summer job, well, not the first summer job, but the summer job just before I left school, I spent at some time at ABC working in the record library, and
Yeah.
then decided that, all plans about being a lawyer or doing geography at UWI went out
Went through the window.
went out through the window because my first love was music, and my father. I grew up with
Yes.
with my father
Sound system.
in music industry and playing sound system from back in those days. So when I went to the music library and started to pick music for shows and filing records and stuff, I used to go into the studio and fell in love with the music part of it as a technical operator. So I decided that I would apply to JBC on leaving school. And at Tamlin Ellis, I remember that good guy, great guy, a good mentor, always supportive and all of that. He had befriended me as he usually do everybody that comes into JBC, and told him that I was when I left school I wanted to come back and I wanted to do technical operations. And Tamlin said to me, "No, but you're in sixth form. You should think about being a producer." Well, I wasn't having anything like that. So I told him, "No, Tamlin, I want to be a technical operator because I want to play the music." Well, he said, "All right, guess what you do? When you in your application form, put technical operator stroke producer." I did it, but I never had an intention to become a producer at that time. So I got the job as a technical operator in 1980. Just after leaving school, I think it was the 1st of August 12th or one of them times. I got the job. My training salary was a whopping $3,000 per annum.
Enough money, that man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Minimum wage at that time
a
was
whopping
$10 a week.
$3,000 per annum, boss man. When I was confirmed, I think it went up to I think it went up to $5,000 for the year. Yeah.
You almost robbed. You were earning like a bank manager salary at $5,000 a year, you know.
Yeah. Allow them time. The big salary was $10,000. When you're in the upper echelons, it was $10,000. And I want to tell you, so we still probably thought that was a little bit of money for us. I remember that when I still have the check stub for the holiday job, and that was $35 a week. You see, $35 a week. Yeah, man. So that's how I started, and I used to be that back in those days. It was a situation where radio technical operators and announcers never did anything but talk and read ads and what have you. And technical operator control all technical aspects, playing the commercials, playing tape recorded programs, and playing the music. So my first job wasn't a job. It was just having fun. Then you had to interact with people like the great Errol Thompson, up and coming Barry Gordon,
Yes, I remember those days.
people like Faye Ellington, Charles Hyatt, people like Leonie Forbes, all of these great people I got exposed to in those early days. And then the general manager was a man called Wycliffe Bennett.
You mean Wycliffe Bennett?
Wycliffe Bennett.
Wycliffe Bennett.
Yeah, man. Wycliffe was one of those guys who was very, very encouraging and supportive, even as a little boy. So one day, I remember I used to have a program called Voices of the Caribbean, which basically recorded poetry from the Caribbean with all of the great voices. So Leonie Forbes, Uriel Aldridge, Kamau Brathwaite, Mervyn Morris, Miss
Yes, I
Lou.
remember that. Yes.
You name them.
Right.
So one day, when I was at training, part of the training situation is to go to every show, make sure you know what's going on. So it was my time to see that show. And there was a sequence of recording music, sound and sound effects and voice and stuff in one big sequence. And the senior operators were trying to execute it and they couldn't do it. And I was looking and looking and looking and saying, someone can do this. I can do this, But I didn't say to anybody, but Wycliffe was a very deserving individual. Saw the kind of passion in my eyes, I guess, and then decided, so I said, young fella, you think you can do this? I said, yes, sir. It's all right, give it a try. I did it in one take. And that the rest of that was the rest is history, because I became the main engineer or the main technical operator going forward with Wycliffe. Now, can you imagine a little 18 going on 19-year-old youth working with the likes of Wycliffe Bennett, Kamau Bradwell, Mervyn Morris, who is still my friend until this day, Miss Lou, Tony Patel, all of these great voices every day would come in and do these shows. And then after that now, Wycliffe was one of those persons, the Yaawd Pharmacy, and that it wasn't the restaurant yet. It was, I think, the soda fountain. And then Wycliffe would also get people to order sandwiches, ice cream, and all kind of things. And so meanwhile you're working, when you take a break, you had food to eat.
Right.
Then the next thing what he would do is to say, all right, come young chap, we're going up to the house. That was Earl's Court. So he would take me up there and we would sit with his wife and others and have discussions about culture, history, and all kind of things. So that was the kind of nurturing experience. And then you had people like Ozzy Harvey would take you to different clubs, like the PAJ headquarters where they had a bar and you drink 2 beer, or take it down to RGR Sports Club and drink some beer, or take it to Arakabessa, and he was a pork man, so I love eat pork. So along the way to Portland, he stop about 1 million times and eat pork and drink white rum and that type of stuff. So this little young boy, and this was not unique to me. This was the kind of nurturing and encouraging kind of environment you grew up with at JBC. People like Winston Williams, who would embrace you as a young boy. But when you're a trainee, you get the hardest time. You can't work with certain people, and all around it, you dare not go around the board when Ranity is working on public eye, because you must get up. Because no matter professionalism them time, and them don't want any young engineer or young rookie or apprentice to mess up them show.
Here's a question though, Doc, because we're gonna have to dry in and make we do give us a real run of your last year. But in terms of the business of radio, no, relative to that, because in those days we're talking about 2 radio stations, correct?
Yeah.
Look at where we are now, and is radio? How has radio been serving the Jamaican purpose now relative to those times? And you talk about those experiences where you have the apprenticeship. Is there that kind of opportunity in radio now for the person who is looking at broadcasting, if you will?
No, it isn't. And in some instances, it is a better situation now, but in a lot of ways, it is not a better situation. First of all, radio was a professional undertaking those days. Right. If you had what we call dead ear, which is mean you don't hear anything for like a while, that was like
a cardinal sin.
You go into purgatory if you make even 2 seconds of dead ear come out. You will be reprimanded and shamed. You understand? Mm-hmm. Mispronunciation of words and just faulty technical execution. You couldn't miss we had to. I remember when we used to do the public eye, we had to go on a delay system, and there was a specific way and a sequential way to keep it on delay. And if you messed up, you'd have dead air. And then anybody that happens to is like is listen. Oh, come on, man! That was this kind of level. If an announcer made a mistake, does a one make a mistake? It was, oh God, I'm so sorry and I'm so this and that. But the standard was high. It's not that people used to shame people or anything, but people expected the best in terms of presentation and execution, and that sort of emphasis now is not there, unfortunately. And I don't blame the people who are on here. It's just that we don't have that type of training anymore. But to get on radio, the barriers to entry is very, very low.
Is there opportunities
in those days?
Question.
Yeah.
Are there opportunities though to develop that in terms of the whole business of broadcasting and the role of places like the Broadcasting Commission as a regulatory framework? Because from what I'm getting from you is that it's almost anything goes. Is that where it is now?
Yeah. It's as a consequence of the neoliberal agenda that has been unleashed on the entire world. It started in the 1980s with Reaganism and Thatcherism, and it affected everything. And so it was always about the money, and it's not about the professionalism, and it's not about the development. Radio back in the day was a developmental tool. It became a commercial entity back in the 80s. Everybody remember that but in my generation and our generation, radio was very important in our education.
Yeah.
We learned a lot from radio. You had things like the family lawyer, you had the doctor, you had the family psychiatrist. So everything, all of the social exchanges and education and inculcation was done through radio. All of our education in terms of what was happening internationally in Pan-African things, in terms of what is happening in the world. It is amazing that we have such a breadth in terms of our generation, in terms of just one television station. And we had access to almost all of the important documentaries and shows that spread across 3 networks back in those days. So we know about what is happening in Australia because of ABC. We knew what was happening in England because of BBC. We knew what was happening in Canada because of BBC. And then the 3 networks, NBC, CBS, and ABC. We got all of these programs. Sesame Street, which was on public access. Yeah. We grew up with all of the man from UNCLE. Love American Style, Green Hornet.
I know you
Cold It.
I know you said that you have been in the thing from your 18. And I want to tell you, those were new shows relative to my time.
Man.
But guess what? we
basically don't have the kind of emphasis now. It's all about money and making the profits and all of that. So when you have that motivation, the standard drops because you have to make the money. So you can't pay the personnel who have the training and the education and expect a bigger salary. So you get more people who are less educated and less trained and the start. And I'm not saying this to knock the people. It's just the reality, because you could not go on radio and speak and don't have a facility with the language.
Well,
not that patois wasn't spoken on radio in those days, because Miss Lou was on, Charles Hyatt was on, and Errol Thompson and these guys code switch effortlessly in terms of their presentation. People like Free Eye, Jeff Dixon, Winston Williams, all of these guys could code switch. But nowadays, you don't even have to have a facility with the English language to be on radio. You can just go up there and make up one holy panel.
Hi there.
If you enjoyed that clip, go on over to our website at yawdmedia.com where you can watch the entire broadcast at your leisure. And while you're there, why don't you check out our other reggae music features? And before you leave, pick up some of our Jamaican reggae merchandise, and hey, don't forget to tell your friends.